What is up, guys? DT Ninja here to bring you my latest review and discussion on Boruto Naruto Next Generations, episode 12. I call this Gozu Tenno and the Demon Beast. Now, first of all, I wanted to do some things like explain what I enjoyed about the latest episode, and then I'm going to discuss about this actual deity or god Gozu Tenno that Mitsuki mentions in the episode. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the beast itself, the Nue, and I have some references to go off of. And finally, we're going to talk about the mastermind and obviously who I believe it is, and, you know, give my final thoughts on the upcoming chapter and, you know, this chapter as a whole. So let's get into the discussion. So first, what I enjoyed about this chapter, I guess it's not a chapter, right? It's an episode. What I enjoyed about this episode, Mitsuki's gradual understanding of his father's words. I loved it. I loved it. So we get this image of Mitsuki being born, okay, and we see him all, you know, in the water of the, you know, the chamber. And we see, you know, obviously Orochimaru walking forward, and we hear some words, but they're kind of mumbled. And we get this, you know, introduction of his, you know, creation. And it's kind of like, okay, that's interesting. And then throughout the episode, what they do is, as he's interacting with others, okay, as he, you know, sees Boruto helping others, you know, and it causes him to help Dinky as they're doing their training, and he wouldn't have done that otherwise, but he tells, you know, him not to give up, and it's all about our team. So Mitsuki's wondering, why did I do that? So as we're seeing, he talks to others, you know, like Shikadai and Inojin, and he finally comes to the understanding that, you know, Boruto really does draw attention to other people, but not just, you know, as a prankster, but he's really, you know, influencing others, which is very unique, you know. So people are drawn to him, but like Shino said, he's the nucleus of the class, so it's very interesting. I also love how the mystery continues. They're doing an excellent job of keeping the mystery alive. Now, not just that, but they keep adding clues. And not just any clues, clues that may lead can also be misleading, because as we all know, I did a whole discussion that Mitsuki was the mastermind. Now, we obviously know that's not true now, and the way they did it was so interesting, because that's just how Mitsuki is. The way it was presented made it seem like he's behind it or he's responsible for it, but actually, you know, he's just there, and his presence is just mysterious. So really cool. For example, how he talks to Sumire, you know, the class rep, and we get this, you know, connection between the two. And also he says, I have circumstances too, almost as if, you know, she has some special purpose of being at the academy. So again, some more mystery there. Very interesting stuff. So I really enjoyed that. Another thing I liked about this episode, the Uzumaki family moments. Not just that, not just Himawari's cute, you know, talking to Mitsuki and her father, which was great, by the way, seeing Hinata and all their family together eating, but things like Mitsuki realizing, you know, Naruto's an amazing shinobi. You know, he knows this from his father, but then he meets him, you know, and we see Boruto, you know, he's kind of jealous. So it's very interesting to see. And then, you know, Naruto leaves. You know, he's you know, he has to leave out of nowhere, and Boruto gets pissed off. So, and obviously the ending where Mitsuki tells Boruto, "I've known all along." who the mastermind is. So it was really awesome. I loved it. I loved the episode. There's not a lot to, complain about, really. I mean, the mystery was incredible. And again, I love how they just keep giving clues, but also can be misleading. They're giving clues, but maybe it's not going to lead anywhere. But still, the mystery intrigues me. So that's my thoughts about the episode. I know that was kind of quick, but I wanted to focus more on my discussion. So before that, I want to share some new items that I got from Japan. So recently, I got these postcards directly from J-World. Now, this is a Boruto postcard, as you can see, directly from J-World. I don't know if you can see that, but it says J-World. And basically, this is a Boruto set. So there's a bunch of them in here. And this one actually says J-World, so you can actually see. It's a postcard. It's basically a postcard, but really cool. So both of them come in the set. Really cool. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I have quite a few postcards from Boruto. This also came with it. It's a keychain. I have yet to put it together, but it's pretty cool. Pretty cool keychain, and on the back it says J-World, Boruto, Naruto, Next Generations. So really neat, and I really like it. Now, it also came with Himawari. Yes, guys. I know, she's adorable, right? She's just adorable. So what I actually did, I tried to get this online, and she's super rare, so it was very difficult. So what I ended up doing is getting her in this set, and she comes, in this set. So anyways, Himawari, pretty neat. I also picked up Hinata recently, so now I have both of them, Hinata and Himawari. So anyways, these are just some recent pickups that I got. I hope you guys can see these. And yeah, that's pretty much it for my pickups. I will be doing a collections video separate, so you'll see a lot of those later. Alright, let's get to the discussion. Gozu Tenno. Okay, you're probably wondering, what is he talking about? Gozu Tenno. Okay, I caught this word the very first time in the episode, because this is the first thing that Mitsuki says. He says Gozu Tenno, and he mentions that this is being used by the mastermind. So it leads me to believe it's some sort of tool, and he refers to it as an heirloom of the foundation, the old foundation of Danzo. So very interesting stuff. And I want to, address what is Gozu Tenno, because just because he says it's an heirloom, we all know Mitsuki's very mysterious. I believed he was the mastermind at one time, and even, his presence still is quite mysterious. So things he says and does kind of lead you to believe one thing or another. So I'm going to explain to you exactly what it is. Gozu Tenno is a fearsome protector deity, god, found in Japanese esoteric Buddhism, and his name means ox head, heavenly king. He is a combinatory deity. What that means is he's a multiple god. In other words, there are multiple different beliefs set as one religion. Okay, so basically many religions all together, many deities all as one. So it's kind of complicated. I guess you could say it's a god that believes in many things. I guess that's the best way to say it. A god who believes in many things, because it says it's an amalgamation of many beliefs. Okay, here is the origins. In Tibet, he was known as the Ox Head Mountain, Gozu-san. When it was transmitted to China, it became merged into esoteric Buddhism, Taoism, and yin and yang spiritual philosophies before being transmitted to Japan, where it merged with the local Onmyodo tradition. In Japanese tradition, he was also associated with the legends of Japanese mythology, such as Susanoo no Mikoto, who is, as we all know, the god of storms. And basically, this is the protector for the Uchiha who possess the Mangekyo Sharingan. And we're going to get to that a little later, and I'm going to talk about that a little later. So, his chief features continue to emphasize his nature as a deity associated with epidemic disease. Though, in time, he was transformed into a god who protected his followers from such ailments and eventually became a god of justice, a god who ascertained the truth. So I thought this was very interesting as well because, as we all know, this beast that has been, taking over people, right? This chakra, this evil chakra that's taking over people. For instance, Dinky, Metal, that builder, right? The actor, the mailman. So all these people that are being taken over, they're being influenced in their thoughts, right? Their thoughts are being influenced, almost like they're being controlled in a way, almost like they're being controlled. But I thought it was interesting because it said epidemic disease, because these people keep falling throughout, the last few episodes we've seen them. They're all, very injured. Not saying they're diseased, but it does beg that question, is there some connection there to what it's talking about here? So really interesting stuff. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Alright guys, now that we've talked a little bit about what Gozu Tenno actually means, now we're going to look at some images that I did some research on and I found that were quite interesting. So the first one we're going to look at is this image of these three demons, or actually it looks like a three-headed demon, and he's sitting on like a dragon, and you guys can see that right there, and you can see each of their arms. There's like 12 arms in total, and like I said, they're all together. These demons are all together, and each of their arms has some kind of item. So at the very top, on the right side, you can see there's this red circular some kind of item. I'm not sure what it is, but maybe it represents, darkness, the yin and the yang, because on the other side there's white, so maybe it's kind of like dark and light, sun and moon, something similar to that. And then below the red one, there's this object that looks like a reincarnation wheel. Now I've seen this in Buddhism. They have this some of this this item like a wheel, and it represents reincarnation, being reborn again. And the very interesting thing about this is that it's very similar, because I've seen something like it in Boruto. And in the very first episode, when the very first instance where I think Dinky was attacked, we saw this symbol with chakra starting to ignite. And I'm going to show you this picture, because now we're going to look at it, and you can see it's kind of dark. It's this dark purple, and you see this this image of some kind of beast that is either sealed inside or something. I'm not sure exactly. And then you see these triangular designs all around, and you can see this blue chakra, being forced all the way around. And every time it goes around, we get more chakra being formed throughout the series. Now, I thought it was interesting because if you look at it, it's also going around similar to how the reincarnation wheel is shown in the demon's hand. So I thought that was interesting, and maybe this could be the tool that Mitsuki said. So in the episode, Mitsuki says, Gozu Tenno, they're using it. An heirloom left behind by the Foundation. And so it makes me believe that, because every time we see this image, you see chakra, almost forming there. And after that, then we see, that evil chakra aura. So it makes me think that. So I thought that was interesting. Okay, let's go back to that image, because there's a lot of other things. Okay, so the main thing about this, Gozu Tenno is a heavenly king, okay? King in heaven, or heavenly emperor, but the main thing is that it's an ox head. So if you look above the main demon, you'll see an ox head, okay? And that's the main thing. And then above that, there's a picture of there's actually a statue of a golden Buddha. So that's pretty neat. So you got all this like light and, almost like enlightenment, above his head, but then below it's almost dark. So I thought that was really neat. So let's move on to the next image, because there's a couple of them I wanted to share with you guys. So the next one is more of a statue. So let's look at this one. This one is more of a statue, and as you can see, it is a statue. So you can see, again, he has multiple arms, but he's not necessarily a demon here. Okay, it's not depicted as a demon here. It's more depicted, as a god almost. And you can see he's got different items in his hand again, and he's holding his hand out like this, and that same tool is there, the reincarnation wheel. So if you look at it, it's the same one. It's the same exact one that he's holding with his hands stretched out. So I thought that was cool. And again, you can see the ox head above, above his head there, So anyways, that was cool. I wanted to share that. Another one. Okay, let's look at another one, because this one looks more like, almost human form. Obviously, he's a god, but this looks more, almost like a realistic one. So you see this almost humanistic character here, and you see he's got a rope in his left hand, it looks like. He's got an axe, but it's also got like this spear on the top of the axe. I've never seen anything like that. So that is some kind of special weapon of the Gozu Tenno. So very interesting. And then again, he's got the ox on his head. So you have the horns there. Now I wanted to show this because the next thing I'm going to show you is very interesting, because it relates right to this. Now, if I already explained it, but Susanoo no Mikoto is very similar to Gozu Tenno in Japanese mythology. He's the god of storms. Now, when we go to the original Naruto and Sasuke's character, right? He awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan, and one of his abilities was the Susanoo. Now, if you look at his Susanoo, so we're going to take a look at this picture now. So take a look at this, and it's the purple one, and it's got the skeleton, feature. It's one of the features of Susanoo, but you can see his eyes are kind of orange, yellow there, and you see those horns there. You see those horns. Now, I looked this up, and this image is actually from my research, and this is actually referenced as Gozu Tenno. So literally, they're using this this god of Buddhism, part of Sasuke's Susanoo. So I thought that was really interesting, especially because Sasuke's Susanoo has like this aura of purple. Now, I'm not saying, it's necessarily evil, but we all know Sasuke, was dark at that time, and that was kind of the vibe it was giving off. So this also, reflects back to, the aura now that is being, expelled by this demon creature. So I thought that was very interesting, and I wanted to share. Okay, now I wanted to give a reference here because the Nue is also in another series. Detective Conan has an entire case on the Nue. Now, it explains that the Nue is a legendary creature, and he makes this crazy sound like a bird, and before it kills. So, in volume number 90 of Detective Conan, which I own, it talks about the Nue, and in this case, there is some message left behind, I believe 10 years ago in this case, and there was a message named, and the message was written as Nue and Blood. So this is when it talks about the creature. So this is what it looks like. You can see it's got this monkey head, right? It's got like a head of a monkey or a lion, and then, like I said, it's got like the legs of a tiger, and the snake of, the tail of a snake, and a lot of different things. So really neat, and this captures it pretty well. Okay, now in the chapter, Heiji Hattori and Conan, they are some of the main characters. They actually encounter the Nue, and the Nue is right here, by the way, in the corner. Obviously, it's not a real one, but they do a good job of depicting, what it could look like if it really was, a real thing. It's only a legend, but you can see it's kind of this fearsome creature. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Pretty cool. Here's another look at it. So, anyways, let's take another look at the beast, because you can see, and it's actually on fire. I don't know if that has anything to do, with the actual origin or anything like that, but I thought that was kind of interesting. Yeah, here's the beast again. Okay, so moving on about the Nue. Like I said, it's a legendary beast, and this is supposedly where the chakra is coming from. This is where the chakra is coming from, this beast. And what's interesting about this is that, like I stated in a previous part earlier, that the tool, possibly the Gozu Tenno, is this tool that is, taking chakra from the Nue, and this is where that chakra is coming from. So that's kind of what I'm thinking there. Yeah, so that's all I wanted to talk about on the Nue. I'm not real knowledgeable on the Nue. I really wanted to focus on the Gozu Tenno because I really think that is the important thing, because that is what they're using to create whatever, the chakra is coming out of. And so it's this useful tool. So yeah. Okay, now on to the last part, which is Mastermind. Okay, so in episode 11, we first see the Mastermind, and he's got this mask on, okay? He's got this mask on. Obviously, that's not, that's not anything crazy or anything like that, he's hiding his identity. But the way it's shown is pretty awesome, right? He holds his hand out, and you see, like, the chakra coming out from him. And then you look at his mask, and he's got, like, these horns on his mask. And like I talked about earlier, how the horns represent, the ox, right? And the ox head. Maybe that mask represents that, and that's another reference to Gozu Tenno, that god. So I thought that was interesting as well. If that's the case, it might not be the case, but I thought it was interesting that it kind of looked like horns. Yeah. So Okay, I believe it's an old Foundation member. I believe the mastermind is an old Foundation member, and I have several reasons. Okay, first reason is because of Sai's, involvement in this case. He's very serious about solving this case. He wants to be there. He wants to, be one of the main people, really trying to stop whoever it is. Because he was once a Foundation member, as we all know, he was lost in darkness. His wife now is the one who saved him. But before that, he was kind of confused, right? He was being used, and he kind of lost his identity. And I guess that's what maybe Sai is thinking now, that maybe this person is one of those lost people like he was, and he wants to save him. Maybe that's what it is. So I thought that was interesting. But another thing is that Mitsuki knows exactly who it is. He knows exactly who it is. Now, if he knows exactly who it is, that means Orochimaru told him. Orochimaru told him. Because Orochimaru had connections to the Foundation as well. As we all know, Sai and Orochimaru were, in contact. So that tells me that. That's the second reason. So the third reason, perhaps Sumire's father was a former Foundation member. Maybe he was en route. Maybe he was a Foundation member before and either was killed or, in battle or a mission, or maybe he's still alive. Maybe he's still alive and she doesn't know it, okay? Maybe he's hidden himself. Maybe her mother told him he died and, actually he ran away or something. It's very possible because we saw this image of Sumire's mother and she looks very sad, right? She looks very sad. She's, right behind, doing her hair, and we see this image of her, but we don't really see a lot of her. We just see this sad image of her face, and it's very mysterious. It's very mysterious, and how she says, my parents are dead, but it didn't show her father, so I thought that was interesting. It only showed the mother, so maybe he's still alive. Maybe he's still alive. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. That's crazy. But again, this could be just nothing. It could be just one of those things to lead us off track. That's what I love about this series. That's what I love about it. We have this mystery, and we're thinking it's one thing, but it's not. And as I showed in Detective Conan, that's what Conan does. There's so many possible things, and that's why I love that mystery series as one of my favorites. But Boruto, for example, has that type of mystery now, and that's why I love, following it, really. That's what makes it very interesting. Yeah, let me know what you guys think, who the mastermind is. What do you guys think about Gozu Tano being a tool that actually generates that chakra? And do you believe that it's actually a Nue, the creature? It did say it's a Nue, but in the preview, it looked different, right? It looked like a tailed beast almost. Very, very awesome stuff. And another thing, guys, Kakashi returns. Yes, Kakashi returns. Yo, get hyped, get hyped. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. One last thing before I go. Overall, the episode was awesome. It was great. But one thing I wanted to say is that in the episode, there was a new character. Obviously, Moegi. We saw her in her adult form. Well, they used Ikamoto's design. Did you guys notice it? They used Ikamoto's design of Moegi. So Moegi's design looked great. It looked great because they updated, the original design to look like Ikamoto's, because Ikamoto's looked really nice in Boruto's mangas. I cannot wait for next week and maybe a possible backstory of Mitsuki. I mean, seeing his creation, I definitely think that it's going to happen. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, leave your comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.